What is going on? Another episode of 4x4 Camping and Adventures. And if you can't see already with this huge smile on my face, here's the new car. So I have bought a 2021 Y62 Series 5 Patrol. And as you can see, I'm absolutely stoked with it. It is white with a pearl, but without going into too many details, this video essentially is going to go through everything that's going to be happening to this car and yeah, what's going to be happening over the next couple of months. So without further ado, let's get into it. So you're probably asking yourself, Braden, why did you buy an absolutely massive petrol V8 four-wheel drive? Well, I can give you one good answer. I mean, it sounds like a petrol V8, so they sound awesome. Nah, genuine answer. The reason I didn't go, because you're going to compare this with the 200 series, because they're pretty much in line with each other. There's nothing else really this big on the market. So you're going to compare this with the 200. A 200 GXL is about 100 grand, roughly, just depending on if you pay a bit of Toyota tax, if you can get a good deal or not. This car delivered to my door was $75,000. Yes, that's a lot of money, but at the same time, that's a $25,000 difference between the two vehicles. Now, if you have $25,000, that's a hell of a lot of money for mods, fuel, tyres, everything, camping, whatever. That's a lot of money to put on this vehicle and spruce it up, put, bull bar, roof rack, all that kind of stuff. So you've got a lot of money left over with the difference of those two vehicles. And if you compare the fuel economy of the two vehicles, so without getting into like diesel versus petrol, whatever, they're actually about the same on the money of fuel economy. So if you're towing, these actually use about the same fuel economy. There's a couple of videos on online that you can check where they've actually done independent reviews and tests of the two vehicles, and this actually comes out better in some cases. So fuel economy wasn't a big thing. It's a big car. I'm not worried about fuel. I know it's going to use a lot of fuel. It's a big old car. So the main reason I wanted a petrol over diesel was the emissions. So if you buy any new car, you're either going to have DPFs, you're going to have EGRs, you're possibly going to have AdBlue and a host of other emissions things to keep those cars from, let's say, ruining the environment and all that kind of stuff. So car makers now have to really cater for a lot of things, especially with diesels, to get them to match the emissions figures and that kind of thing. So I didn't really want to have to deal with DPFs. I didn't really have to deal with EGRs again. I cleaned out the intake of my Trident once, and that was enough to put me off. The whole fact that it recirculates that carbon and that kind of thing back into the intake. It's just a recipe for disaster. Like any new car, or let's say any new modern common rail diesel is not going to last compared to a 105 series or a old GQ Petrol, because they're mechanical diesels. But obviously those cars put out a lot more emissions. So you do need to have these things to stop the emissions coming out of the exhaust. But obviously there's a host of problems with those. So DPFs, they can make cars go into limp mode if you don't drive them on the highway enough, and all those kind of things as well. So that was like, well, I suppose I was like, you know what? All these things to make the car essentially use put out less emissions, comparing, let's say, back to the 200 series. Or I can buy a petrol V8 Patrol, which I'm going to say something a bit biased here. I think this looks nicer than the 200 series, and it also has a nicer interior. So really, do you need a diesel? And really? Put a snorkel on it, you can still, go through water crossings, all that kind of stuff. The actual wading depth from factory is 700 mil, so it's actually not too bad. So do you really need a diesel, especially in 2020? I don't think so. But look, the proof will be in the pudding. I'm going to have this for 10 years. So this is my 10-year car. I'm 32 right now, so I'll have this into my early 40s. But as I said, this is my 10-year car. So I wanted to make sure in 5 years' time, I'm not cleaning out intakes. I'm not replacing DPFs and spending stupid money on replacing a DPF, all that kind of stuff that comes with these new modern diesels. As I said, nothing against modern new diesels, but that's your life. You have to deal with that. That is part of your life of having a modern diesel now. You have to have DPFs. You have to have EGRs. Have to have AdBlue in certain cases. That is just part of it. I don't have to deal with that with this. So that's better for me. So I'm happier. So that is the reason why I bought a petrol over a diesel. So without any further ado, let's actually get into the reasons. Let's get into the cool things that's going to happen to this car over the next probably 4 months. So without further ado, let's get into that. So, what's going to happen to this car? Well, a fair bit actually. So pretty much everything's already ready to rock and roll. There's a few things I'm waiting on, like bull bar and that kind of stuff, but I'll talk about that a little bit later in another video, because I think that's probably another video in itself. But bull bar, roof rack, sliders, all the basic bar work, that's all going to be put onto it. I'm going to get 33-inch tyres. I'm not going to go the big 35s. Yes, they look awesome with 35s, but this is going to be a touring vehicle. I'm going to be taking this up to Monkey Mire in March next year. I'm taking it pretty much across down the whole bottom of Australia December next year. So I don't need a 35-inch tyre to drive on the blacktop to use even more fuel to get to my destination, when the destination is mainly beach. So I don't need those 35-inch tyres. I'm not taking this to Brunswick. I'm not taking it to Harvey. This isn't what this vehicle's made for. This is purely for my touring, as I said, this is my touring vehicle. So 33-inch tyres, they're going to go in there. I think they come out at 32.5s off the top of my head, these big guys here. I've got some brand new rims for it from ROH. I've got some rims that are going to go onto it. They're actually going to go on next week. Just waiting on the little valve cap things, because apparently these have, which I've learned the other day, they have tyre pressure monitoring system in it. So there's certain valve caps you need to use. But anyway, we'll get into that later. So as I said, bull bar, roof rack, sliders, rims. The whole back of the car is going to be completely decked out from Black Label Storage in Rockingham. John down there is doing a full kit out. We've looked at everything. We've set it up. It's going to have a pantry in it. It's going to have a full 12-volt system. Upright fridge, all that kind of stuff, drawers. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fully decked out, and it's going to look absolutely amazing, because those guys down there do nothing but good work. The 12-volt system is going to be from Red Arc. I am going to go the Manager 30. I'm going the Red Vision system, which has got a little screen where you can turn all your stuff on. That'll come with a fuse. It comes with a, I can't think what the name is, but it's like a fuse block, and then obviously you can run all your gear to that, and that obviously goes through the Red Vision system, so you can turn everything off and on and whatever. Have a travel buddy in there. I'm going to have the airbags in the rear, because obviously it's coils, so you want something to bring that back up to level it up when you put the weight in there. And lithium battery as well. I'll probably have a 100 amp hour lithium battery in here. The brand of that is a Allspark, done by the guys here in Perth. So that's pretty much the basics of what's happening to the car, and there's obviously going to be a million other little small things that are going to happen to it, but the basics is it's going to be purely set up for long distance touring, seeing some awesome locations in WA, so Exmouth, Broome, Monkey Mire next year, going all the way down the bottom, all the way down to Tasmania, and seeing all the landscape around there, spending a week pretty much at every single state on the way back. That is what this thing's going to be built for. So purely for touring. But I'm super excited. Like, as you can see, this is like absolutely awesome. I am so excited at having a new car. It does look a bit like a soccer mum's car at the moment, because it is a standard old Patrol. But when she's got all the gear in there, she's going to look, yeah, primo. What else can I tell you about it? I mean, if you don't know anything about the Y62 Patrols, they got 298 kilowatts of power, 560 newton meters of torque. It's a 5.6 litre V8 with a 7-speed automatic. Fairly luxurious inside. It's all leather. It's all nice. It's all easy to drive. Super smooth, super comfortable. And the actual suspension system is IFS all around, but that's not a big thing for me, because as I said, I'm not looking for flex. This isn't a Brunswick Warrior. This isn't going to go to Harvey. On the beach, you don't need much more than what I've got. I've actually taken it on the beach already. I had 200 Ks on the clock, and I took it on the beach, and it absolutely killed it. It was perfect. Went down to 22 PSI, didn't have a single drama. So yeah, on the beach, this thing is smooth sailing, creamed it. But yeah, so I'm pretty damn happy. Pretty happy, if you can see the massive smile that's on my face. As I said before, this is still a 4x4 camping and adventures channel. There's still going to be adventures, there's still going to be trips, there's still going to be reviews, all that kind of stuff. Nothing's changing on the actual channel side. It's just that I got a new car. That's about it. That's pretty much the only difference between now and when I had the Trident. But I'm stoked. I'm absolutely stoked. So hopefully, over the next couple of months, you can follow me in the journey of seeing this thing get built up. And yeah, from there, it's going to be trips, Monkey Mire, all down south. Yeah, really get into it, and yeah, do some absolutely awesome exploring, which is why I bought it and why I'm going to build it. So if you have any questions, Probably sure you do. Drop them in the comments, but if I don't see you in the next video, I might see you out on the tracks and trails. And if I don't see you out on the tracks and trails, I shall see you later. And maybe I'll just leave you on a bit of an exhaust note. Have a listen.